you have this way of like, when I come to you, I know I'm going to be met with, and there you are. That's the guy I know, right? Like, it's almost like you hold me to a higher standard in my worst moments than I hold myself. And it's like that belief that you have in me and the way that you receive that is, I feel weird saying this because I'm a dude, but I feel insanely safe to be really forthcoming with you.
Yeah.
Because I know you're not the type of woman who's going to kick me down. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. This is Friday, and this is the third Friday of August. And this is my third show with my incredible wife, Jessica. And if you are a married couple and you are facing a season where you feel like you're kind of drifting and you feel like you're maybe not on point in your relationship, or you just feel like, man, things are just not aligning for us lately, and I don't know what the missing ingredient is. And maybe you might feel like you're two ships passing in the night. Maybe you feel like, as my wife always says, we're spinning in different orbits, which, by the way, I love that analogy because it's so true. We spin in different orbits sometimes when we're not on point in our relationship. This show today is all about, like, how do we interrupt that drift and how do we get back on point? And I'm really excited to talk about this topic today because 22 years of marriage, we have definitely have been in those seasons where we've drifted.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So here we are. It's the third week of August, but as of today, your very first podcast went live today.
Awesome. I don't want to hear it.
I know. I started playing it last night in front of the kids. You're like, turn it off.
I don't like to hear myself talk.
But you, I think the audience would agree. You're kind of a natural at it, though.
Sure. I don't know if natural is the right word.
Well, I think you're very real, which makes you a natural, to be honest. Like you don't try to fake it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have any reason to, though.
No, I mean, well, you don't try to fake it, and you don't try to not be nervous. You're nervous.
Yeah.
Right? You feel it. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, why wouldn't you be, right?
Well, I just, you're in front of like groups of people, and I don't know. I've never liked the center of attention.
Well, I told you on the first episode that only like 4 people listen to this show.
Right, only 4.
So it's, yeah, we don't have to worry about it.
Everybody was like, "Oh, I can't wait to listen."
I know. So I'm really excited to hear the feedback from what people say. But let's talk about this though. First of all, you look beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you. I do it just for you.
Thank you. I'll take it. No, you look absolutely beautiful. So like, I'm sure people on YouTube would be like, yeah, dude, you definitely outkicked your coverage. So
yeah, I don't know about that.
Let's talk about this though. Let's talk about, just in times of our relationship where we've gotten off track. So, and just to add some context to this, a lot of the guys that I coach, whether they're in a group setting, one-on-one, there's usually something that has happened in the relationship. There's usually been something that's sort of disrupted things that have then just went out of control and went unaddressed. And sooner or later, like 5 years passed by and we're like, oh my God, we never got back on track. We got so busy with the kids' sports and the kids' activities and raising kids and the house stuff and work stuff and my stuff and your stuff. And like, man, we just kind of sort of lost this connection. Like, I can't even tell you how many couples that I think deal with, like, where one person or the other rolls over one day and was like, yeah, I didn't really sign up for this, or I don't really feel, this is the one I hear all the time, I don't know if I'm in love with you anymore.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're going day to day, it's hard to connect. And then if you don't have that connection, then you kind of feel like you're losing it. And in my opinion, I don't know, like, yeah, that happens, but we've always been able to come back to that, like, be like, hey, we're not connected at all, so we need to come back.
And that's what I really want to talk about today, because I think that's something that, if I really look back at our relationship, like when we first got married, and this was more me than you, I was probably the more avoidant. Like if I thought something needed to be addressed, especially when it related to that. Like I think I kind of avoided it, or I would walk away a lot, or I would go sleep downstairs. Like I would do things like that. Or I would just like leave
Yeah.
and
And not say anything.
not say anything. And that was a huge miss on my part. And I didn't even realize like probably the magnitude of what that was doing and how it was impacting our relationship. But like the weird thing about it though is like I remember feeling that that made sense for me to do that.
Yeah, it made sense for you because you wanted to get away from the situation. I mean, in your mind.
Yeah,
Like that makes sense to a guy because you don't want to fight, you don't want to argue, you want to just walk away from the situation, not really seeing how it impacts anybody else.
that's exactly right. And here's the weird thing though too, like I actually thought that walking away was it was selfish for sure. But I also thought in some way, shape, or form, like I justified as being selfless. I'm like, well, I don't want to fight about this,
Yeah,
so
so you walk away.
just gonna avoid it. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe it'll just go away on its own, which that doesn't work.
No, and that's why I feel like I came to you one time and I was like, I'm all for you taking a break and processing what just happened, but just tell me.
Yeah,
So,
just
like,
bring you into the know.
yeah, like just be like, hey, this is not about you or this is about you. I just need to think about things. I will come back to you in a bit. Like even if it's like, hey, I'm going to take this break. I'm going to go work in my office for a second and then come back to you. I feel like that has helped tremendously, like just communicating what's been going on in your head. Because if there's times I don't know what's going on in your head, I don't even know if it's you're mad at me or if you're mad at some situation going on, in your head.
I love that we're talking. I want to talk more about what you just said. So, and I think it's in line with communication, and I also think it's something that is so appropriate that it could interrupt that drift of when people start to kind of like grow apart. So, um, last night I had a friend over who's in the Alliance, and he lives down the street from me. I'm not going to mention his name just for privacy's sake, but he was over last night. We had a fire pit, and he's in his mid 30s, and he and I sat out there at the fire pit for 2 hours, and we were going back and forth just about like our lives, our marriage, and that kind of thing, and he was talking about how he feels this tension and this drift right now from his wife, and he's like, dude, a lot of it is me. He's like, so he talked about this example of like there was something that happened to his garage door,
Mm.
and his garage door broke.
That
And then
sounds familiar.
I know, right? Like, but he didn't run into his garage door like I did, like an idiot. Oh,
Well, I just thought it was you and not me.
oh my God. But you know what's so funny is like I knew you weren't going to be mad, but I was afraid you were going to be mad. Like, which is dumb because I'm like at the heart of it. Like, if anyone would have asked, like, do you really think Jessica would be pissed? If we're like, no, she really wouldn't be pissed. She'd probably be more like, you're like, okay, moron. Like, we're gonna fix this now. But yeah, I was backing out, and my tire of my Jeep, and it was probably only a matter of time, like hit that aluminum like track, and it totally bent it, and we had to get it fixed and everything else. But anyway, so like my neighbor, like the guy in the Alliance, he was talking about how a spring went out,
Mm.
and this company came over to quote unquote fix it, and it was like $700. And
No.
yeah, so he wasn't planning on that. On top of it, he he was sort of coaxed into like, oh, this spring is bad. You should upgrade these springs to this, and you should go with one spring instead of two. It's better. And then he's like, okay. And then he pays this ridiculous bill, and then he goes on the Better Business Bureau and realizes like this company is a total scam.
Oh no.
Yeah, like he was like beyond pissed. So going back to that, right? We're like when we as guys were going through something like that, and he and I had this really in-depth conversation about this last night, that like when we're going through something, like how we as dudes, and me included, go really inward,
Mm.
and we become like distant, and we almost like remove ourselves, we're cold. And then what's actually happening in our mind is, and he was explaining it perfectly last night. He's like, I'm pissed that this cost me $700. I'm pissed that worked this many hours only to pay for that. I'm upset because I feel like I just got conned right out of this. So I feel like an idiot. On top of it, like now I don't have this money that I could be using on my family or something else. And it was like, and he's like, I should be better about this. I shouldn't be upset about this. It was like all these shoulds that he was doing that was just making that whole situation so much worse. And what he was doing, his wife would be like, can you just talk to me? Like, what is going on? He's like, nothing, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's the notorious, like, I'm nothing, I'm fine. Right. And I told him last night, I was like, listen, I was like, I'm ahead of you like 15 years. I was like, and it took me, and I told him, I was like, I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm still trying to be diligent about it. And I was like, but I need to let people know around me who mean most to me what's going on in my head so they don't think it's them. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, what do you mean? So I gave him this example, which is real world. This just happened to us the other day. I was like, me and Jess went out for like an afternoon. And I was like, and I was in my head. I was like, there was a few things that were just sort of ping ponging in my head. And it had to do with the fact that like I haven't been getting much sleep lately. So I was kind of frustrated with that. It also had to do with the fact that our sex life is so like fast and furious right now because the kids are home and we have to like sneak away. And if we want to be intimate, and it's like literally, I feel like we're 16-year-olds again, like sneaking away in mom and dad's basement. So that's like, we don't get our own time anymore. There was a little bit of drama going on in my organization. So I had to deal with that. And I think you asked me on the way to us running errands in our little afternoon date, you were like, are you okay? And I was like, my first response was, yeah, I'm fine. And you were like, okay. And then I was just like, no, I need to like let her know what's going on. Like that way to release like this tension to communicate with her. And I said to you, I was like, actually, no, that's a lie. I feel really challenged right now.
Hmm.
And I just like let you know everything that was going on. What I just said, I let you know those things.
Yeah. I can see why you would hold it in though. Like, it's like if you speak out loud, you start to feel like, oh, I don't want to bring all this information into her, like
Yeah.
her life and make her worry or whatever. But on the other hand, it does make us realize, okay, it's not me. Like, he just has some stuff going on, which I usually know because I've known you for quite some time.
30 years. Almost.
But, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, are you afraid to tell me things? Or is it just the fact that, like I have all this in my mind. I want to deal with it myself and I don't want to put her in the middle.
It I'm so glad we're talking about this because sometimes it's a variety of things.
Hmm.
So one of it might be like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell her this because it's absolutely dumb that I'm even like stressing over it. So like there's like that stupidity factor, like this is just dumb and she's gonna think it's dumb, which I'm sure you don't.
No.
No, you never do. So it's a dumb story that I tell myself that you're gonna think it's stupid, but that is so far from the truth. It's not even funny.
Right.
In fact, what you would really do is you meet me with tremendous understanding, just like I do with you. And the other story that I tell myself is I shouldn't be stressed about these things. So if I just don't focus on them, maybe they'll just go away. And that
Which
never
doesn't work.
works. Yeah, it never works. Um, Another thing is yeah, I don't want to burden you with something. I don't want you to worry about something. So I'm just gonna keep it close to my chest because like you haven't like in my mind, I'm like, you have enough going on. You don't need this on top of everything else you're dealing with. So I hold it in,
Yeah.
which is the very thing that I want with you is connection. And the very thing that I'm doing in that moment is disconnecting,
Correct.
which is idiotic.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't blame you because there's times I have stuff going on in my head, but I don't want to like bring it to your attention at the moment. But I always do eventually. It's just a matter of like when I'm ready. But I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where that's just kind of what we do at first. But we also know each other to where we know, okay, maybe I need some space or you need some space. As long as we just tell each other, we do better off.
I agree. And I think we're really good at reading each other. There's
Hmm.
one thing that I really want to give to the audience, though, that you do, and you do really, really well. That I think I haven't seen this in couples very often. And I think it's a true gift that you bring to our relationship. And it's not just our relationship, it's the kids too. When a man is usually going through something and he's disconnected from his wife and his kids and he's in his head, usually what I've seen happen is the woman will get more resentful and do something to dig at him or nag at him. And they don't. This is where I want to let women off the hook too. It's not nagging is, I think, more of a man's word,
Hmm.
but what a woman is really trying to do is talk to me. Hey,
Hmm.
give me your attention.
Yeah.
But sometimes the way it lands for us and the way it's delivered, quite frankly, it can be, it can land really wrong.
Right.
Right. So a woman has to be able, if she's going to quote unquote nag or poke or prod, I think it needs to come from a really loving and respectful and sort of a curious and appreciative way versus like, why aren't you talking to me? Oh, yeah, there you go again. You never talk to anybody. You disconnect. You're all in your head. Not that a woman would say that out loud. Some women would, but some women will literally gaslight, to get a guy to talk to her, which is the wrong way to do it.
Right.
You have this way, and I've seen you do it not only with me, but with the kids. And it's unbelievable, like how you will read somebody and you just come up to me and you'll just hug me. It's almost like, and it's when you hug me, like there's a tremendous amount of just peace that just washes over me. No matter what's going on in my world, like there's that peace. There's also, to be honest, a little bit of shame because in my mind, for me, not you, when you hug me, I'm like, I'm found out. She knows I'm struggling with something. It's now blatantly obvious and she knows, so I'm not hiding it anymore. Like I thought I was hiding it pretty well, but she knows better. She's the wiser. And oh crap, she sees it. So there's that going on for me, but it's like 90% like, oh my God, this is amazing. 10% is like, crap, I thought I was doing pretty well hiding this and I wasn't.
Yeah, but I don't know many people that can hide certain feelings and situations. Like it's written all over your face a lot of times, or it's how you act.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like when you have something going on in your head, I feel like we're really good at trying to problem solve it together once you have told me about things. And then you always are like, well, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. It's usually a lot of things that come to light are like, what crap, I didn't think about it that way.
Mhm.
So let's go back to your operating system though. What is it that's in you that you're just like, this person needs a hug or this person needs compassion or they need something and you deliver it in a way that is received so well. And a lot of women don't do that.
I just feel like it's going to diffuse some of the frustration. Like, I mean, what is it? How many seconds are you supposed to hug somebody for them to start to feel?
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like that's going to diffuse some of the frustration.
it does. It's actually so chemically in the brain. I think if you kiss or hug for more than 6 seconds, it releases um, the amount of oxytocin needed for like peace,
Yeah.
comfort, happiness. Like it's versus like, oh, I'm just going to give you like one of these ass out pat hugs, type thing. It's like more like, no, bring it in and I got you type of a hug.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, if I'm mad at you though, that's not always the case.
Right. That's true. That's true. Then it's the ass out hug.
No, it's just I don't give you one.
No, you don't. I know you really, really don't. But like in those times, it's well deserved. But I think that's one of the ways of many that we interrupt that drift,
Yeah.
which is and you're so much better at it than I am, to be quite honest. But going back to you, is there anything that I do that it positively impacts you in that way? And I'll ask this a different way too. If I don't do it the way that is impactful, could you give me some advice on what would be better or impactful?
I guess it depends on the situation. If you're mad at me versus mad at something going on, like with whatever, it could be your knee, it could be something going on with drama in your workforce or whatever, but there's usually always something. If you're frustrated with something, it's usually something else that's triggered it. And then everything else just kind of follows suit. And it could even be something about something else. And then it turns into you're frustrated with me because of something I said or did. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like when you can tell I'm frustrated, there are times you come up to me and be like, "Do you need a hug?" You know what I mean? So I do appreciate that because sometimes I really do just need that connection. As a stay-at-home mom,
You knew where you're going.
there are times you feel kind of lonely and you're working and the kids are maybe off to school or I'm doing everything with the kids and it's just like I've only talked to kids all day. You know what I mean? So there are times I just need like that reassurance that you're there and I just needed that hug from you. You know what I mean? But now, if you're frustrated with me, the one thing that you do when you're mad is you go and process whatever you need to process. And then you come back to me and be like, okay, I thought about this. That always is like a breath of fresh air kind of because it's like, okay, so we can talk to each other civilly. We're going to be fine. You know what I mean? Because there are times when if you're mad at me, I've got this anxious feeling in my inside and I'm like, I don't know when this is going to end. You know what I mean? But when you come up to me and after if it's like 30 minutes, you know, it's great because if it's a whole day, that's sucky.
Right. Is it helpful and thanks for telling me that, by the way. Is it helpful? And I'm trying to do this more now. I didn't do it before. In fact, I think kind of how we started the show, like I would just walk away,
Yeah.
from things and you'd be like, are we ever? Is this ever going to be resolved? Like
Right.
the biggest question mark, the biggest uncertainty is like, where do we go from here? Like, I don't even understand what the next step is. Like, do we sweep this under the carpet? Are we going to continue to fight about it? Like, what's going to happen? But one of the things that I've tried to do recently, especially if we're in more of a heated conversation and, like I can't remember what it was, but like, oh, I remember. I think it was when like we were going, like the season of the drift was like last fall for us because we were so busy.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had hockey, we had wrestling, we had band, we had two kids in football, and trying to like do a gazillion other things. It seemed like it was impossible. It was crazy. And one of the things that when we were going through that season, like I call that season one of my most impatient seasons as a father and quick to anger. Like if doing this work and being a dad for 20 years, I think last fall might have been some of my worst meltdowns as a dad. And it's because I was stretched thin. I was exhausted. We were both exhausted. Everybody was burnt out. But the thing that I learned through a conversation that we had about that time, because I think I sat you down and I was like, hey, is there anything going on in our relationship or are the kids saying anything? Because I was really attuned to like, I'm not showing up really well and I'm quick to anger and people around me are probably feeling like it's on eggshells. And I was like, can you give me some feedback on what the kids are saying? Can you give me some feedback on what you're seeing? And you gave me some pretty direct, good, but respectful feedback of how I was showing up. And it wasn't great at all. And it was tough for me to take that feedback because I was like, wow, okay. But I think I looked at you and I was like, I can't respond to this right now.
Mhm.
I need to go to the gym for an hour
Right.
and think, and then I'll be back and we can talk about it.
Right.
And you were like, yeah, cool. And I did that. And I got on the treadmill and I think I ran for, I think an hour, felt so much better, processed through those thoughts. And I think I came home and I was like, okay, I've thought about this.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. And so going back to even like that structure and like if we're really going to help out married couples, listening to this show, I think there's a couple breadcrumbs there. Number one, what was it about you? I want to talk about first. You had to have felt safe enough anyway, to give me that feedback to know that I'd receive it in a way that I wouldn't like explode or get really defensive or get really pissed off. So the safety aspect is one thing. The second thing that I want to talk about is how guys or women, doesn't really matter, give the other person certainty of like, hey, give me a minute for some space, but I'm giving you certainty that I'm coming back to talk about this. This is not going to be something that's going to be resentful or swept under the rug or we're going to continue to fight about. We're going to address it.
Right.
So there's that certainty aspect. And then the third thing would be repair, like how we repaired it. So going back to the safety aspect, what was it about the environment or maybe our relationship dynamics to where like you felt really okay with giving me feedback, knowing that it was probably going to land rough, but I was going to be receptive to it.
Um, I mean, I choose my words wisely.
Oh, you do? Do you really?
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I will say, like, you have a great way of sharing feedback with me. And I guess, so I didn't know this, but I guess you're really thought out before you do that.
Yeah, a lot of times because it kind of goes back to the using the word always and never and stuff like
Right.
that. Like that just causes more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
More defensiveness.
yes,
Yeah.
you get more defensive. So I just try to think of ways to like talk to you about it without it being like I'm attacking you because I don't want to go down that road. And I don't like to fight, you know that. I don't like to fight with anybody. I don't want confrontation ever. But if like you're asking for feedback, I want to give it to you properly without you feeling like you're being attacked as well. And then on top of it, like I always know you're going to think about it and come back to me. Like I'm not always in the right either, but a lot of times there's like something you did, but then there's something I did back, and then we both need to come together and just discuss everything. So I always know that that safety is there because I know you're going to think about it and that we're going to get through it.
Is it also because like you've seen the reps put in, the consistency of that over time?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, we have. Let's go back to a time where it wasn't consistent and it was newer. Did you have doubts back then that will this be something that will stick?
I mean, thinking back, I was like when we first got married and first having kids and stuff, like, I mean, I had my uncertainty, especially when you would just up and leave.
Yeah.
You did that quite a bit in the beginning. And I was like, I don't even know if this is going to work out. But I don't know. I don't know what switched. I'm guessing the whole thing when you like came downstairs and started your little like blog thing on Facebook or whatever that thing was that you're like, oh, I'm gonna check this out.
Are you talking about when I started the Good Dad Project Facebook page, like
Yeah.
way back in the day before we had a website?
Yeah, I just feel like that's when things started to turn around a little bit. I mean, we had a lot
We did.
going on in our first beginning of marriage. There's just we were trying to figure it all out. We were pretty young. I mean, not crazy young, but we were pretty young still.
Well, even like, I think you can say we might not have been young in age. We were, but like, I would say we were young and green when it came to relationship dynamics.
Right.
Like I'm coaching a young married couple right now, and their kid is 5 months old, and they're like, some of the things that they talked about on today's coaching call, I was just like, wow, like we're so far past that one. Like I don't even know how to relate to that one. Yeah. So I definitely get that. Um, so it sounds like what it was is there was a change that happened, but perhaps what you saw was consistency over time, that I was staying true to it.
Yeah.
I will say this though. And this is where I think the drift in everybody's relationship can get really, really messy and really sticky, because I was talking about this on another podcast before you and I started recording today. I was like, because we were talking about marriage, and he's like, you got this amazing marriage with your wife. I was like, yeah. I was like, but it hasn't come with like, it's never been a linear straight line to success. It looks like it looks like the stock market, like
Yeah.
like an EKG. It's like, oh, okay, okay. Oh, now it's okay, crap. So it's like, literally, it's like it's valleys and peaks along the way. I told him that I was like, the best way I can describe it is like the stock market. I was like, like, hey, when 9/11 hit, the stock market like tanked, and then it did really well until 2008. Then it tanked again, and then we did pretty well, and then in 2020 it tanked again. It's like, so it's like we've had these blips of like, valleys and peaks. But I think over what I told him, and maybe this will ring true, is the one thing that I think has been consistent is that it's been the desire and the awareness in both of us that, okay, we might be in a peak, but we have no tolerance. I'm sorry, we might be in a valley, but we have no tolerance to stay in the valley.
Right.
Like no acceptance whatsoever. We're going to get it back up to here. And I think the thing that's made me confident and maybe I've made you a little confident, is I know without a shadow of a doubt that you believe that to the core of you. Like, we are not going to let this thing go off the rails for too long, like the valleys.
But you kind of put yourself under the bus a lot.
I do.
So I'm just saying, like, you really know when you've done wrong.
I do.
And so I think that's kind of the difference sometimes. Like, that's why I feel like, okay, well, if he really knows that he did this wrong, then he's going to come to me anyway. But not many people do that. So I feel like that's I don't know if I want to call it a gift, but that's really good of you that you think those things through. And like I'm saying, you're not always in the wrong. There's times I am too, but you're really good about realizing you are.
This goes both ways, though.
Yeah.
It really does. Because, so like, I was raised by my mom, right? I've also dated other people in the past that you know their names. And what I'll tell you is you provide such an environment of being receptive to me being owning my stuff and not kicking me while I'm down. So like, for instance, and maybe it's this, we've always told the kids this, your honesty and your ownership is celebrated and not punished, which means come and tell us the bad things and we're not going to kick you while you're down.
Right.
We're going to help you. We're going to be like, dude, like that was courageous of you to tell me that. Right.
Right.
And I think you and I can both agree that our kids have told us things and we're like, holy crap, I would have never told my parents that. Right.
Yeah.
So I think this goes both ways because thank you for saying that, like that I'm a person who like comes to you and was like, hey, I'm not showing up or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, or I fall on my face here. But the only reason that I feel really good about doing that is because of how you receive it. So like, for instance, in previous, how I was raised, if I had wrongdoing, be like, hey, like, I'm really sorry that I did this. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. What the hell were you thinking? What's wrong with you? You don't do that. Or like if I was in a romantic relationship with somebody else, be like, yeah, that was complete bullshit. Don't you ever disrespect me like that again. Like just beat you down.
I just do that in my head.
Good to know.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
So I'll be like, so the next time I come to you, I should be like, okay, so before you internally beat me down, maybe you should just say some stuff out loud. Yeah. But
no, because that would just tear you down.
It would. But like, that is the thing. Like, you have this way of like, when I come to you, I know I'm going to be met with, and there you are. That's the guy I know. Right. Like, it's almost like you hold me to a higher standard in my worst moments than I hold myself. And it's like that belief that you have in me and the way that you receive that is, I feel weird saying this because I'm a dude, but I feel insanely safe to be really forthcoming with you.
Yeah.
Because I know you're not the type of woman who's going to kick me down.
I think that's the mattress people.
Our mattresses are here.
I think.
It might be.
You probably get the...
I don't know if I do. I did get a buzz. Let's see, guys. Hang on. So we're at minute 32. That's okay. I think that's just the lawnmower and people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Delete that.
No, we're good. We're expecting a new mattress because we've worn out our other ones.
I mean, this one is bouncy.
You said that. I can't. Oh my God.
I saw you lose it.
Oh, that was so funny. Like we're in the mattress. So our date day that we're talking about, where I'm like, no, I'm feeling challenged today. We actually went out and bought a new mattress, and Jessica, in all of her flavor, like just, we call it the Jessica shock factor. We both laid on this mattress, and we're right. The sales guy's like looking at us, and she like starts bouncing. She's like, this one's bouncy. I was like, oh my God, that is great. So yeah, I can read you like a book. I love the fact that our guys, we have lawnmowers out there right now, but that's okay. This is a dad show. So, but yeah, I think, like I said, that's really twofold. Like, you do a great job of creating an environment where like that kind of stuff is welcomed. And I think a lot of women, a lot of couples can take something out of that. Like, whether you're a guy that's like, when you have one of your kids that come to you with wrongdoing, or your wife, and if you beat them down, even in a moment of where they're trying to be humble and apologize, you might want to rethink that one. And then the same goes for the wives as well.
Yeah.
But okay, so we talked about the safety thing. Let's talk about the certainty thing. So when I say something along the lines, or you do, either one of us, where it's like, hey, I need a minute to process this, and I need a minute to go think about that, but I'll be back. What I can tell you in other relationships is, oh, no, you're not. You're going to stay here and talk about this. And it makes the situation, I think, even worse sometimes. And it could do more damage, but you allow that space. And I'm wondering, does it have anything to do with the fact that you just know me? And if I tell you I need to go process something, and maybe it's also the added, like, hey, he also said he'll be back in an hour to talk about this.
I mean, that's part of it. The other part of it is like, I just lost my train of thought.
No, that's all right. We're the lawnmowers have got you like all.
It's kind of loud.
It is, yeah. So you can tell, like, I mean, like I can tune that stuff out because I've been podcasting for a decade. But yeah, is it? I really want to ask if it's really just kind of twofold of like, hey, you know that I need to process this, but secondly, does it make you feel more secure, more safe, gives you more certainty when I'm like, and I'll be back in an hour to talk about this. So in other words, you know that there's going to be a continuation of this conversation. It doesn't just stop.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to say. Like, I don't like to fight. I don't like to raise my voice ever. Like, I mean, there's times I will, but I would rather you go do your thing so that we're not in a heated discussion as well. So that's more of a certainty to me as well. Like, I feel like, okay, well, I can think about it now too while you go off, because there's probably things I want to process as well. You know what I mean? Because there's times where I'm like, okay, maybe I could have handled that situation better, and I need to think about how I want to handle this better. You know what I mean? So I would rather not fight about it in that situation anyway. I think we need to cool off. There are times even when I'm mad at a situation and I need to think about it before I say anything to anybody. Like, it goes for all people. Like, I mean, like, even like workers, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes things are not what they used to be anymore. And so somebody that was supposed to come to our house and do something and then they cancel or not show up or something like that, it I have to think about it before I go and like ream them a new one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I would.
Yeah. It's kind of like you have to think of it from different angles.
Yeah.
Like what is it about this situation that I'm maybe not seeing
Yeah.
versus like barreling in like a bull in a china shop and disrupting things.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I totally get so I think that's another good lesson is taking pause, to be like, hang on, before I react, let me analyze this situation. I've started doing this one thing, at least in my business, and I have a really hard time doing this with the kids, which, by the way, you've been an absolute blessing because you're really good at what I call the approach. Because if something's going on with the kids, like my first reaction is go bang on their door and be like, hey, what the hell's up with this? And you're like, you're always like, there's a way you need to approach this, and maybe you should do this, and maybe you should say that, and maybe you should take them out and sort of have like this and I'm like, it's always such a better idea. But I think, when something happens in my business or organization, I now allow myself, like if I'm triggered by something, what's Colton doing? It's fine. It's a dad show.
yeah, I know. He's like ramming into that mattress.
Oh my God, what is that boy doing? I'll tell you, it's like living with drunk people. I say this all the time. It's like living with drunk people. But, oh, there's a mattress in the dining room. I'm going to slam my face into it.
I just didn't want it to knock everything over.
No, yeah, you're right. But I'll take 24 hours before I respond.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like triggered, I'm like, oh, I just want to respond to that right now.
Yeah.
That's a cue to me now to be like, hang on, like let's remove the emotion from this. Let's look at all perspectives. What just happened? What are the dynamics? what might be going on for this person in their world. How are they viewing this? How are they viewing, like there's a whole thought process that goes involved with it now.
Yeah, I agree. But we also have learned like love languages. So, for instance, I mean, maybe not outside of our family, but inside our family, we know like, okay, Mason might have this love language and this is how we should approach this situation. And then Ethan has this style. Like, I feel like we know how to approach certain situations after we've thought about it and cooled down or whatever, if we're really mad about something too. Outside of our family, that's a little different, but
Yeah, it's very true. I think that's another, like you're filled with great points today, by the way. Like you're
oh,
right.
thank you. Thank
You
you.
I think you have to know the person, like because the way you approach one person in your family, like how I would obviously approach Ethan would be different than Mason.
Correct.
And what's really funny is you bring this up. So like the couple that I was coaching this morning, like they were arguing about something and he asked, the way this argument got kicked off was he's like, why did you do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
Like that was the way he's like, why did you do this? And the woman, and it wasn't even that big of a deal, but the woman was like, I asked her, I was like, how did you feel when he just said, why did you do this thing? She's like, I immediately felt really defensive.
Mhm.
I was like, what would have been like if he's like, hey, I saw this and I was just wondering, can you tell me about, what happened or tell me about the decision that was made here? How would you respond to then? She's like, it would have been totally different.
Right.
So I think, for guys, like, so just like, this is a great example. So I was like, I went back to the guy and I was like, where does this come from for you? He's like, well, I'm former military. I'm in a sales position, and this is just how we handle things. We go about it very unemotional. It's just like this. I just need an answer.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, well, how you operate in the military and how you operate in work, like you're out there slaying dragons. It's unemotional. It's you're doing your thing. You're providing, you're protecting. That's not the way you are in marriage, though.
Yeah.
It's got to be different. So, I think the approach that I think for a man needs to take with a woman, and maybe for a woman to the man, is like, let me meet you with some compassion and curiosity first
Mhm.
before it's accusatory.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that you and I have had to learn as well.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed even with you, actually, it was so funny. I saw you do it the other way when we had a conversation with Ethan last week about a topic. And I think you'll probably understand. I'm not going to talk about the topic, but he said, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. And you were like, why would you do that?
I mean, you get to the point where it's like
You do.
continued, like
You see the same things.
same things
Yeah.
over and over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do question sometimes.
But I think you, for the most part, one of the things that we do in our relationship when we start to drift is we do meet the other person with compassion and curiosity and not accusatory.
Yeah.
Like even when we're starting to drift, what I've noticed is instead of being like, hey, what's your problem lately? Like, why are you so distant?
Yeah.
Instead, like I've noticed that the way we go about it is like, hey, I've noticed we aren't really connected lately, or
Right.
we are, like in your words, like we're kind of spinning in our own orbits right now. Like we're just sort of disconnected. So it comes from this place, I think, of curiosity. And there, you use the word we a lot, or we use the word we a lot now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I mean, we're going to have slip ups and stuff here and there. I mean, it's just, we're human.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like an example.
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh boy.
Yesterday,
Okay.
you just automatically asked Colton why he was still in his pajamas.
Oh, I totally did. Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. He has been cleaning all day.
Yeah.
So, because you had only seen him, because you were out, you had only seen him in his pajamas sitting on the couch watching TV when he had just turned it on.
It's very true.
But he had to clean the basement, which was a mess because he had forts and everything everywhere. He had to clean up the storage because he pulled out a bunch of games and costumes. He had to clean his room. And he had to empty the dishwasher. So that is why he was still in his pajamas.
I guess he can live here another week then. Like,
But like I'm saying is you can like get in that mode of like, well, why, you know?
yeah.
But I mean, sometimes we need to know the situation. Sometimes we need to like really sit back and see how we should approach that differently. But then there's those times that you just want to know why.
Yeah, you want to know why. Like, why are you doing that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. But I do think I think the word why is a word that we try to actually avoid.
Hmm.
I'm a big proponent of like, and so are you, is like, tell me about that,
Yeah.
or like, or using the word we instead of you,
Right.
right? Which I think is really, really powerful. I want to wrap up this last segment with so many people have asked me this question, and I have my own answer for it, but they'll ask me, they're like, dude, you own a business, you guys have 4 kids. Somehow, some way, your marriage is really, really good. Like, how in the world do you make time for it? People will tell me, like, they're mutual friends of ours that I won't say their names, but one in particular is like, I only have 2 kids. You have 4. How in the world do you make all of this work? Like, as it relates to getting along with your wife, like, how do you guys do this with limited time or what seems to be like super limited time? And I tell people a very similar thing every time. But I'm curious from your perspective, and if you need a minute to think about it, I can share mine. But like, I'm curious from your perspective what that is for you.
I can share my perspective, but then I'll probably feed off of yours or something. But I think that we both know our roles in in our lives. Like you, for instance, with your business, and then like I know when you're doing dinner or when you're doing taekwondo and I'm doing football or whatever, we always know our roles, So I feel like we know what we want to do and we know what we're doing that day or that week or whatever. And then we know where our time slots are, where we can figure out what we can do together as well. Like, I just feel like if we continue to communicate, I always talk about that. We continue to communicate, we know where we have time to fit things in and how we can like make time for like our connection and whatnot.
Just like the other day when we had like 7 minutes when the kids were out and we were trying to get dinner ready, and you were just like, "Hey, we have a few minutes."
Don't tell people that because Ethan listens to this.
That's true, Ethan. Sorry, Ethan. Although he did, it was a couple of years ago. He started listening to the podcast, and I was talking about on a podcast how you and I had that date day, and we ended up in the parking lot. And he came home like absolutely mortified after hearing that episode. He's like, "Dad, did you and Mom do something bad in the parking lot of BC's?" I'm like, "Yes, we did."
Oh my God, why do you tell people things?
Well, I was like, "Yeah, we did." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "Son," I was like, you won't realize this now, but if you've been married for 20 plus years and you get busy in the parking lot of a restaurant, there's really good things going on in your marriage, okay?" And he just kind of like laughed, but yeah, for me, like I agree with everything that you said. It's the communication, it's knowing our roles. But and I also think it has to do with, we also have zero tolerance for mediocre.
Yeah,
Like when things start to get stagnant, it gets I think, and I know I feel it, and I think you do too. This isn't comfortable for me. Like, I don't like stagnation, and I don't like us just existing. I like us really connected. So there's a huge inner drive for us to be on point with our connection. I think for you too. It's like it's the best way I could describe it is I'm not settling
right.
for mediocre. I want it here, and in order for me to have it here, it constantly has to be cultivated, and even in times of the drift, even in times where you go to bed and you're exhausted out of your mind from the day, but there's that maybe 3 to 5 minute conversation that you can have, with the TV off of like, hey, it's been a minute, let's catch up really quick, even though we're tired.
Yeah.
So like, the other thing too is, I think there's a lot of parents out there that think their kids might not understand that if their marriage was a huge priority. And one thing I've talked about on this podcast is I really think, and I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but like if you like now that our kids are older and we can ask them questions, like me and Ethan have been talking about this on the podcast, I was like, what does it mean to you to see a mom and a dad love each other so much? And like even Lawson, who's like 11, he's like, he'll use the words, it feels warm. It feels cozy. It feels nice. And I think that's his way of being like, it feels really safe for me to be here and knowing that my parents are in a good place.
Right.
So I think even we do this like selfishly because we want it. But I also think there's that part of us that we do it selflessly because I know you. Like, I think one of the reasons that you treat me so well is because you probably want to set a standard for these young men of like, this is how a man should be treated.
Right.
And these knucklehead girls that might want to come and knock on your door, that might want to do whatever, and they're drama and they're this and they're that. Yeah, that's not the standard. This is the standard. But I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's what you probably feel.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want our kids to be happy and to know, like what it's like to be in a relationship and a good one.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. One final thing is this. I just want to wrap with this. So, in the times where we have been busy, and I want to go
that's
back.
not rapping.
Okay. In this time, yo. Or do you want to wrap?
No, I really don't.
Sure. But like when we were going through our really busy time last fall, and that's where I think we really stepped. I think one of the things we've done pretty well in our marriage with our kids' activities is like you get one activity per season, period.
Yeah.
Like some of these people that do like 3 sports and all this other stuff, I'm like, I don't know how you people live, but like one activity per season. And I've always said that last year was a huge learning lesson because I think it just sort of lucked out in the way that like, oh, we have two older boys that are in fall sports and we have 2 younger boys that are always in spring sports. So it's always like we kind of get a break. We have 2 kids in sports at a time. But last year, 4 kids, super demanding stuff. We had 1 kid in band, 2 kids in football, 1 kid in hockey, and then it just continued on to wrestling. And it was like 6 straight months of like, and even Ethan, like me and him talked about this on a podcast recently. Even Ethan picked up on the fact he was like, that time in our lives felt like not us. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? He was like, it was just weird. Like one person would be at my wrestling matches while one person was at Colton's hockey thing. It was almost like you guys were trying to do it all and stretching yourselves so thin that even he felt like there was a disconnect. Like it was, I don't want to say it was broken because you do the best you can, but it wasn't something he was used to.
Yeah, and we tried not to miss any of his wrestling stuff because it was his senior year. But I remember like I would go from one thing to the next so that I could try to make both where you would. And it was hard. I sometimes miss the busyness though, because right now I feel like there's like a
Don't say that. Because then a storm will come. Oh, speaking of which, Ethan's coming upstairs right now.
Yeah.
So, hey, what's up, dude? He's coming in. You want to say hi? Yeah, we were just talking about you. Me and mom? Yeah,
Awesome.
I had it on last night and she was like, turn it off. I don't want to hear myself. Isn't she good though?
You didn't. I thought you were gonna be like, like,
Thank you.
We love you, but we thought you were going to be really awkward, mom. Well, they can now if you go to the mic.
Sure. What's up, everyone? But yeah, what I was saying was I thought you were gonna be kind of awkward on the microphone, but you weren't.
You're just in time because 5 minutes ago we were talking about what happened in BC's parking lot.
You have to even put the place. Why?
Well, it's I guess we need to find a new price. All right, love you, man. All right. This is truly a dad show. I'll tell you what.
Well, it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but yeah, so keep going with what you're saying.
What was I saying?
You were talking about like, we were trying to like divide and conquer. Sometimes we were doing like 2 things at once and one day, and that kind of.
Oh, I was saying you shushed me.
Oh yeah, because you were like, it's pretty calm right now, and I'm like, shh, don't say that out loud.
Well, this summer has just been more low key than ever.
Yeah, it has.
So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I like the hustle and bustle of things, but then I do welcome the breaks.
Me too. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna get busy here soon, but I want to talk about like when, not if, we ever go through.
Like how you say we're going to get busy soon.
Where's your mind at?
No, it
I
was
thought
just
I was.
funny.
I know. I thought I was the pervert. You bouncing on mattresses and. Oh my God, it's great. But I mean, in the season where we do get busy, um, I'd like to extract like just some lessons that we learned from last year. Cause I'm just like, to be honest with you, like I look at last year with how busy it was and I'm like, I really don't want to go through that again. But I also know that busy seasons will happen again. But I want to know, and this is like super organic. I don't even know the answer to this. But I think the next time this happens, I would really like for us to both be like proactive of like this busy season is upon us and we might even be in it right now. But how do we still continue to make time for me and you? That way things just don't like those valleys are shorter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like so much change is starting to happen, like with Ethan being out of high school, Mason's last year of high school, Lawson's middle school. Like, I feel like the season's going to be a little bit different and maybe not quite as hectic because we don't have all the high school sports except for Mason's right now.
Sure.
So I feel like, I don't know, how we operate anyway is like dividing and conquering, but we also are very good at like coming together and being like, hey, this is coming up. Maybe we need to like strategize a little bit of how this could work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think the proactive strategizing thing is going to be really big because I think if I really look back, like last season that happened, I think we were more reactive to the situation instead of proactive. In fact, I remember feeling like, I don't know if you felt this way, but I did. I was like, I know we need to be better about this. Like, I know we need to be more proactive about this, but I'm so tired and I'm stretched so thin. Like, I don't even know if I want to try right now because it was just like, it felt like another like heavy lift versus like we could have probably done things to plan a little bit different before that busy season even happened.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, this was awesome. A lot of unexpected things we talked about. Getting busy in parking lots and on mattresses and Mattress Firm and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And I don't think we got busy in Mattress Firm. That'd be weird.
That would be really weird. But we got a new mattress tonight.
I just pray it works.
Oh, I think it'll work.
No, you don't understand.
Not.
I just need some good sleep.
Did I snore last night?
No, you didn't.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't even have to use the little rise thing.
The zapper?
Yeah,
Cattle prod?
What zap you. Just zap you every time you snore.
Oh my God, that would be horrible. That would definitely teach me not to though. Like I'm not even a fat guy. I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know why I'll go weeks without doing it and then I'll saw logs one night and I don't know. It's like I used to do that when I drank, but like I don't drink anymore. So
I think it just depends on how tired you are sometimes.
that has a lot to do with it for sure. Well, so next week I want to dive into a little bit more of our intimacy.
Okay.
We won't be graphic about it, but I at least want to talk about like how we approach it because it's a really triggering topic. If I could pick two topics for next week, it's like how we tackle alignment on finances without obviously talking about our finances. But those two topics, sex and finances, are the two biggest topics of why people, number one, cultivate resentment and divorce.
Yeah.
And I think we've been, I think if we talk globally about how we go about it,
yeah,
and basically our perception of it and perspective of it, I think that will give a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
So, cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
All right.
That's the last one, right?
No, this is the Friday show from now on. So, guys, as we wrap up here, Jessica and I have obviously talked about a lot of things that have really helped us disrupt the drift. And one of them, I think, is doing our date nights. And it's asking ourselves questions, and it's asking each other questions and being curious about each other. One of my most popular resources that I have for this, and it's totally free. I talked about this last Friday, which is we have 25 intimate conversation starters for you guys. So if you go to thedadedge.com/25 questions, if you want to start dating your wife again, if you want to interrupt the drift of any type of resentment that might be setting in or disconnection or whatsoever, a lot of times deep conversations, it always starts with better questions. So if you go to that, I've got 25 intimate conversation starters for you and your wife. Print it off, go out on a date night, have a lot of fun with it. It's a really, really good time. If you guys go to thedadedge.com/1353 for this show, again, thedadedge.com/1353, I'll have a link for you in the show notes for you guys. From my heart to yours, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Jessica, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
I love you.
I love you too.
Gentlemen, go out, live legendary. Take care.